Hello and welcome back to the Pub Kid Podcast, episode 1. Today, as you can see, we have a very special guest, an assistant director extraordinaire, a Carlin drinker extraordinaire, a human squid. That's an inside joke for anybody who hasn't got a clue what I'm talking about. It's, of course, Joe Bodfish, and this is the second time we're fucking recording this because his Wi-Fi shit.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi shit. I do like Carlin, and I am a squid. I think that's a pretty good summary.
So Bod was the assistant director of Pub Kid, and we've worked together on a few projects as well. Prior to doing Pub Kid, like at university and stuff, like 3 or 4 we've probably worked on directly as mate. Directors and assistant directors or DPs and stuff like that. Friends and frequent collaborators, as JME and Skepta say. And basically
rather than friends.
You are?
Nothing, mate, nothing, crack on.
You're saying colleagues more than friends? Alright, yeah, alright. Fine, you ain't coming on the next lad's holiday, mate.
No,
do one. So basically we're just going to talk about a little bit about Bod, a little bit about the film and how he got involved, a little bit about what happened on the lead up to the film, what happened on the film, and kind of where we're at now and what Bod's up to, I suppose. So, first question for you, mate, is tell the people who don't know Joe Bodfish is a little bit about yourself and what you do and where you're from and all that shit.
All right. Well, if you haven't guessed it from accent, I'm from Birmingham, so you're gonna have a great time listening to this podcast with a brummie and a yam yam.
Yeah, unfortunately,
you're able to hear a word of what's being said.
You can't see subtitles on Spotify.
Yeah,
for the video version to
as
come
Liam
out.
said, we met each other at uni, worked on a few projects together there. I think the very first film we both worked on, we both directed, you had to pair up. So the very first thing we did was direct together. And then from there, Liam's directed stuff and I've AD'd some of his. I've directed stuff and he's DP'd some of mine. And then outside of me and Liam, I work in a production team who mainly do commercials and sport content. Lots of automotive stuff like Formula 1. Did a load of Aston Martin stuff, McLaren, and a bit of football stuff as well. So that's all really cool. And then outside of my day job, I am a director and writer, although last year I haven't really done too much of that with everything going on. And then for me, I'm just a big football fan, Birmingham City. Wish I wasn't at times.
That's a shame.
It is a shame.
To be fair, mate, I don't know why I'm a Wolves fan either at the moment.
Wow, you in the Prem, mate. We're nearly.
I haven't won a game. I haven't won anything for 14 games.
I'd take that. Prem.
No,
I'll take that any day.
I suppose it beats being a Blues fan, doesn't it?
Very true. We're fucking shit. And then outside that, I'm a big MMA and UFC fan. And that's it, really, for me.
Basically, Bod thinks he's hard because he watches UFC.
Yeah, I don't think, I know, but,
I mean, if we set our mind back, 4 years, walking back from Hanley, I'll beat you in a kick fight.
The famous kick fight?
Yeah, I kicked the shit out of you, to be honest, so...
Well, I think your legs are hurting more the next day. But we'll skip past that.
We'll get past that, because I know it's a bit of a sensitive topic for you, mate.
Alarm by
you. What was I going to say now? Yes, so that's one thing that I was listening to what you just said about our first film together. Before we get on to Pub Kid, I would like to speak about our first film that we co-directed and sort of co-wrote, I think. Because, basically, the film was called Dirty Flirt. And for anyone that hasn't seen it, it was a film about a boy meets girl short film and they meet together in a laundrette, and things get a little bit, cheeky, bit saucy. The girl starts showing him some like knickers and bras and that, and he's a bit like, "Oh yeah, keep showing me this," and she's like, "Oh, I won't show you any more until you show me some of yours." So he shows her his boxes, and they're cacked. They're like fully cacked. And do you know what, mate? I watched it the other day. Funny enough, when I was sorting out, because I'd just read on my website, and I was like sorting out all the Vimeo links and that. Mate, that film it still stands up today. It's genuinely a decent film.
At the time, it was definitely, obviously on our when we were at uni, there was like a fair few people. It was one of the best ones then, I thought. And I watched it probably about a year ago, and I remember being quite pleasantly surprised. Like, it's decent, like it works.
Yeah, mate, it's better than Floridians anyway. That was cack. And so then, we did another film together called. Was there anything between Dirty Flirt and Floridians?
I think when I did Brew, you DP'd that, from what I remember.
Oh, so that was the same year as Floridians, right?
Floridians, yeah.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, and that was a good film. Yeah, DP'd that with Bod, and Bod directed it.
Cool.
And then, did another one where Bod ID'd and I directed one called Floridians. And that was like Brew, first of all. That was like, you can explain it, mate, what Brew is.
It was, God, this is going back now, isn't it? It was like a very Edgar Wright-y, just little comedy thing, just about how pissed off a builder gets when someone makes a cup of tea wrong by putting milk in it first. Just stupid little idea, but... And
he goes on a killing spree.
Yeah,
you forgot to add that little bit that he fucking murders everybody.
Yeah, including the little kid. It was decent. It worked. It was alright.
And that blood splatter shot, mate.
Oh my god. Yeah, because it was Edgar Wright style. We're trying to do like crash zooms and that like manually, and I just wanted like blood flicking, or was it like a spanner went up or something, and then we'd like crash zoom on it. But obviously, because someone's putting the hammer up, it's going to change where it is each time. And I remember we were going for about an hour just trying to crash zoom on this bloody spanner.
We were crash zooming and pulling focus at the same time.
Yeah.
So I was like that on the zoom as well as that on the focus wheel. So I was like, it's like 3, 2, 1, shit, lift, out. Or I can't remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember. So much shit. And then the behind the scenes is just me screaming when we get it. But it was worth it, man. That shot's sick. So then, then we went and did Floridians, which I wrote and directed, and Bod ID'd. And to be fair, you can't see that anywhere because I've took it off Vimeo because it was bad. Like, I think the idea itself was probably good, but I think it was a bit too ambitious in terms of how I wanted it to be shot. Like, we weren't shooting on mad cameras with like loads of lighting.
We didn't have long, man, either. I remember that shoot being really, like... Because we shot it in like a restaurant, didn't it? Or like a diner.
We shot it up where...
It's in Yorkshire, isn't it?
It was in Yorkshire. It was near where Izzy used to live. Selby? Is that the place? Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, something like that.
It was called...
It was like 3 hours away. It was far away.
Yeah, it was a jaunt, man. And obviously we wanted it at night because I was like, well, it needs to be at night because it's meant to be set in Miami and there's going to be pink neon lights everywhere. So, and that was the time they closed. So it's just a bore. Like, we had no time. We was all knackered. Like, we didn't end up getting back to Stoke till like 7 a.m. because then I had to drive the actors back to Birmingham, then come back to Stoke.
Yeah,
and we wrapped at like 3 in the morning.
A long shoot.
It was just, and we didn't really plan it. We were young and stupid, and I don't know, man, just too ambitious, and it looks shit, and yeah, it is what it is. But fun fact for anyone who hasn't watched Floridians, the guy who played Mr. Miami is Denny, who plays the narrator in Pub Kid.
Oh yeah. Oh shit, yeah.
And Denny has been in Bod's other films as well. He was in one of the film, Balties in Birmingham.
It was in Balties in Birmingham, which I did.
Yeah. So we'll probably have Denny on this podcast at some point as well. We'll do an episode with Denny, speak to him about me and Bod, because obviously we've known him. Mate, I think I've known Denny for like 6 years from Floridians. That's when we
It's
first
actually
met
mad.
him.
Well, we knew him before you cast him in Floridians.
Oh, of course we did. Of course we did.
We met him on some other kid shoot, at it.
Pasta La Vista.
Pasta La Vista.
Yeah, we met Denny on another film that was I AD on that. I think it was the same crew as Dirty Flirt. No, was it?
Yeah, it was, which is mad. So basically, when it was our first year uni, and about halfway through the year, everyone got like paired up, like choose your pair, to do a film together. But you got put in groups, so like there'd be me and Liam as a pair, and then there'd be like another 3 pairs as the crew. So we were in this shoot for this other pair, and obviously because you were the crew, everyone had like random roles. So I think I was doing sound on it or something. I think you were ADing, and the kids shoot. Wow, I guess but you could probably tell that, mate. I was already on sound. You were the one doing it.
What, are you too scared that they're going to watch this podcast and we're going to say they were fucking shit?
Wow.
Yeah, they were.
I don't want to be a
yeah, they
dickhead,
were.
but yeah, they were awful.
No offence if Sam will probably watch, maybe. Who knows? Sam, bad performance, mate.
And Shazza.
Yeah, Shannon.
Shannon, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Not good.
Bless
For
her.
their own shoot as well.
Yeah, so they'd wrote and directed it, I think, and then I was IDing it, and then I think I kind of like said to him, look, like, do you want me to fully direct it, because it seems like you're struggling, kind of thing. Put to words to that effect. So then I just got really pally with Denny and realised that he was actually a really good actor. So I was like, let's get the best out of this guy ever, like get the best out of him that we can. And I think looking back on that film, it wasn't too bad. Like, I think Denny carried it in the end in terms of, like, the idea was great. Like, Sam had come up with a sick idea, I thought.
I don't remember it too much, like the actual
It was
idea.
like, I think he killed the mailman and he put him in a spaghetti.
Pasta
was that
La
the-
Vista. Yeah, it was something to do with that.
It was something. Yeah, I think that was it. The postman delivered something. He killed him.
No, it weren't. It was the kid next door playing football.
I can't
the
remember, mate.
The ball went in the garden or something, and he asked for the ball, and then he put him in the pasta.
Oh,
something like that. I think it was.
Yes, because we had gardens. We had shots in the garden, didn't we?
Yeah, I remember like kicking the ball back.
Yeah. But yeah, that's when we met Denny, and then just went from there, man. I was just like, look, mate, I really like working with you. Do you want to be on this film? That was it. He came off Floridians, probably thought it was a shambles, and probably thought, I'm never going to work with these idiots again. And lo and behold, we get him on the telly. So, mate, big shout out to Denny. Like, he's an
Denny's
absolute
class, man. Yeah, big
legend.
shout out to Denny.
Like,
Denny's really cool.
like genuinely, like a very good friend now, as opposed to just some actor.
Really
that
good
we
guy,
use.
really good actor.
Yeah, he's a good guy. And also shout out to Huckleberry's Diner up in Selby. It's now closed. It's now closed down. Shout out to their Sloppy Joes.
No more
Bod
Sloppy
lads.
Joes.
Sloppy Joe. I'll try and put an image on screen actually for people watching on the event when it eventually goes to video. There'll be some behind the scenes stuff that we've got from Huckleberry's that like I've never put anywhere. But yeah, man, I think that's everything, isn't it? In terms of films that we've worked on apart from Pub Kid.
Yeah. I think that's it for what we worked on together. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Cool. So then, yeah, obviously that brings us on to Pub Kid, really, and I just wanted to talk to you about, you know, when I'd come up with that initial idea and when you first got involved in the project, basically. So we were speaking earlier about it, but excuse me. It was so I come up with this pitch in November 2019. That's when I first sent this treatment off to the BBC. And then they got back to me in the February saying that, you know, yeah, we'd like to commission the project, blah, blah, blah. And then meant to shoot it in April. Obviously, COVID happened, got pushed back to the shoot in August 2020. And then it was on telly in February. And now, obviously, this podcast's going to be out after the 9th of May when, you know, I've now got the rights to the film and it's doing the festival circuit at the moment. We are, however, recording this in March, so... weird yeah, I don't know why I said that, 'cause I think I've totally screwed your head up, ain't I? Yeah. But yeah, when did you initially get involved, mate? Can you remember?
Well, we were on about this just before we started the call, but I mean, it seems like so long ago now. But I remember you
Yeah.
sent us the script, or at the very least the idea. But I think it was a script. Last 2019,
Early
end of
2020 potentially.
2020. Don't know.
Oh, actually, do you know what? I might have sent you the.
I could have sworn you sent it to me in like November 2019.
That might have just
Maybe.
been before I sent it to them. Bloody hell.
Either way, I remember you sent us the script or the idea. I remember thinking it was really, real cool idea and that. I think we had like dropped a few messages back and forth about what we thought. And then obviously, as it always does, it went quiet for a bit as you got in contact with BBC and whoever else. And then once you got the green light on funding and that, it sort of picked up from there. We had a couple of phone calls and just sort of said, you asked us if we wanted to idea. I said, of course, because you're my mate. And
Wait,
then,
I mean, you called me a colleague earlier, but we'll carry on.
Yeah, I sort of depends what mood I'm in. But yeah, and then from there we just sort of cracked on with it. And happy days, really. It came out pretty well.
Yeah, it was good, mate. I was going to say, like, probably go into a bit more depth about each section that you've just mentioned. So, what were your initial thoughts of the idea? And, like, did I send you the idea before telling you that it had been sent to the BBC, or just in general?
I think you did, but I might be remembering that wrong. But yeah, when you sent me the initial idea, I thought it was really cool, man. Like, when you're doing shorts and that, where we haven't got millions of pounds, you've got to do something which is doable. Like, if it was a script where it was Pub Kid in space, wouldn't work. Don't have the money for it.
Yeah, for anyone actually, for just a bit of an insight for anybody who's listening. Like, obviously we can say it now because it's been done, but we had a £5,000 production budget, and it just went like that.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone's watching this who ain't sort of involved in any filmmaking, that probably seems like a lot of money.
Yeah.
But then when you think about all the kit you have to hire, locations, crew, actors, everyone's travel, expenses, all that sort of stuff, that money disappears really quickly. Well, that's not much money at all. But yeah, no, when I first read it, it was like straight away, it was a cool idea, thought it was doable, all sort of in one location, which is always a good thing when you're doing like shorts. Again, I'm speaking here from more like logistical perspective. But then the actual idea, I mean, straight up my street, like me and you, Liam, probably quite similar. Like, I was always in pubs as a kid and that. Probably had a bit more fun than poor old Pub Kid.
Yeah, do you know what's funny? So many people have asked me, like, that's one thing I should say before we carry on speaking, like, just the feedback in general. I know I've mentioned it already on Facebook and stuff, but, like, mate, the amount of people that was commenting on all the links and stuff was actually insane.
That's
like,
class.
Touching 1,000 people, like physical feedback, like comments of, like, this is sick.
That's insane. That's class. That's
no negative comments, man. No negative comments. Well,
maybe. Rare these days as well.
I know, I was waiting for some hype. But yeah, sorry, what was I saying? Where were we? What was I just saying? Sorry, yes. So people were commenting stuff, but then a lot of people have been asking, like, oh, is that based on, like, your childhood, blah, 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 like, I was like, nah, like, my parents are great, like, they're not pissheads, like, yeah, obviously spent time in pubs as a kid, like, on the odd weekend, and I think the main idea was that, I'd like some of my mates growing up were those kind of kids, like they'd finish school, go straight to the boozer to meet the mum and dad, and just be sitting there with like a J2O and a can of Coke, and the tea would be a bag of crisps or scratchings. Do you know what I mean? Which, to be fair, scratchings for tea doesn't sound too bad.
To be honest,
scratchings and carling. I mean,
yeah, but I think that's why it works, man. Because people can relate to it. Like, I was in pubs quite a bit as a kid. Not so much in a negative way. But because I used to love it, like for the football and that, I used to love it, like playing football in the car park and all that sort of stuff. It was mint. But people can still relate to the sort of if you haven't got the, I don't know, the right people around you, and that's happening, it could be pretty bad. And I think people can sort of relate and see to that. It's one of the reasons why it works. And also shooting in pubs is cool, because it looks sick.
Yeah, I mean, credit to Dan, because he's the sickest DP I've ever worked with. Hopefully we get him on this podcast as well to speak a bit more about that. But yeah, I think just like, you know, we're both pretty, you know, we're coming from a background that's fairly working class, I would say. You know, not bottom of the barrel, like we're not council estate kids, but we've grown up around, I've certainly grown up around council estate kids, and some of my best mates have been, you know, really poor, I guess. So having that mindset, I think, and being in those them sort of environments, it was very gritty, Englishy feel, which I hadn't done before, really.
That's true, actually. I mean, yeah, Floridians, Miami, pink neon lights to like British
shit old little pub,
working class thing, British shit old pub.
Yeah,
bit of a difference.
Yeah, no, it was good, mate. And then yeah, so obviously got the funding and we got a shoot date in. So then, what was the kind of, I suppose, like the prep that you had to do when, you know, I kind of was like, yeah, mate, this is going to be a goer, like.
Well, for me, obviously, because I was ADing it, like scheduling and like health and safety, and that are probably the two main things, especially during COVID. Obviously, Molly was producing it. I don't know if Molly's coming on this. Is Molly coming on this at any point?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, she is. I'm speaking to her Saturday.
Yeah. So me, you, and Molly had a few calls. You guys were filling me in on, you know, the location, actors, all that sort of stuff. Then once you guys got a bit further along and you had your shot lists and that, Liam, I took the shot list and made it into a schedule, because when you shoot stuff, you don't shoot it in the order you watch it in. You have to shoot, like, because you're so limited on time. Like, we had 2 days of shooting, but during those 2 days the pub was open during their normal hours, like, so you had to work around that, so you weren't in like the main bar area when the pub was open. So for me, it was just figuring out those logistics, you know, and working with, you know, what day is that actor there, so therefore you have to make all his scenes on that day, and that's basically what I was across, just all scheduling that, and then obviously all the health and safety stuff, as well as all the extra COVID stuff, and that was it really from me. And then just general feedback and help where you and Molly needed it.
Would you say it was a difficult thing to schedule?
Yes and no. Like, because of the style of the film, because it's lots of little scenes. You've got loads of even though it's all in one location of basically a big pub. You've got loads of like location moves. Like, it's not all just like one long scene at the bar. It's like 2 quick shots at the bar, then 2 shots in the toilet, then 2 shots outside. So it was working out who was needed for each one of those little scenes, logistically where they are, so you're not walking all the way from one side of the pub to the other side of the pub. All that sort of stuff's probably the hardest bit to do. Luckily for me, I think we had most of the actors for both days, other than Denny, who was obviously the VO of the film. So we sort of shot him all at once on the second day, but then we were sort of free for everyone else to use them when and where we needed them. So that side of it was quite difficult, but luckily, you know, didn't have any like crazy stunts or anything like that, so that made life a bit easier.
Yeah. And what was your thinking, like, how do you think we worked as a crew? Because obviously this was the first crew that we hadn't used from uni. It was like, you know, actual industry professionals. Like, I was at times felt a bit out of my depth, but I think we did. It's hard to kind of like assess yourself when you're in that situation, isn't it?
Yeah,
but I'm constantly like so fucking self-critical of like, am I doing a good job? Am I doing a good job? And it's like, mate, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I remember that.
But yeah, I guess like, what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, as you say, it was weird because obviously when we've worked together before, it was only at uni, so we've only ever used other uni students, and some of them are really good and doing absolute bits in the industry. Some of them aren't like in the industry, so it was quite cool for this shoot to work with everyone who was proper professional in the industry, but also there was still four of us from uni.
Yeah.
Me, you, Molly the producer, and Will the art director. So that was really cool. 'Cause it was a bit of a sort of obviously we're all really good mates, and we meet up a few times a year. We went on a lads' holiday last year and that, but it was really cool working together again on that side of things. But then working with like Dan, who's DP, who's top notch, and the lighting guys, the camera assistant guys, all really good guys. And then because it was quite a small crew, we were really agile, which is what we needed for a shoot like this. Like I say, because there were so many location changes, we needed to be able to move from one place to the other place really quickly, and the crew was small enough to be able to do that, and then everyone was happy to sort of chip in and move whatever needed moving as fast as they could. But like you say, Liam, it's sort of weird looking back because shoot days are so high energy and high stress that like everything on set is moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour, and you don't even know if you fucked up until like 2 hours later, or just like it's mad how fast it all moves. But yeah, next to that, I remember like you got so much adrenaline. I remember you like occasionally turn around to me and saying, "Oh, is it all okay? Is it all going all right?" And me just sort of saying, "Yeah, it's good, man. Looks good. We're getting what we need, and hopefully there's no issues."
Well, there were no issues, mate. Like, yeah, obviously it got on the telly, which like I did not expect to happen. And we'll get onto that in a bit. But what was like? I mean, if you can't answer this, that's fine. But what was like a standout? Like, first of all, the 2 or 3 days that we had on set that weekend was like unreal. Like, I just had like the sickest time ever.
It was good.
Mostly because we were just drinking half the time. We'd
Not on
finish
set,
and go.
But yeah.
Oh no, not on set. But as soon as we'd wrapped, we was in a pub, weren't we? So
Already in the pub.
exactly.
It's class when your
fresh pint
location
working there.
is the wrap
Wine.
drinks. That's perfect.
Yes, exactly. And then yeah, on the first shoot, not after we wrapped on the first day, we went and met some of the other crew, didn't we, for a beer?
Yeah,
and that was good. It just felt nice, man. Like,
but again, it's like
real.
the shoots are so high pace and high adrenaline that it's weird because normally after a day like that where you've worked really hard all day, you'll be knackered and want to chill out at home. But you're that high still on adrenaline that you want to go out. Basically, you want to go out.
Yeah.
But you've still got to be up super early the next day. It's like, like you say on this shoot, both nights, even though, we had to be up mega early the next day, and like the day before the shoot, obviously we had to travel up there and that. You're still going out for beers and that afterwards and messing about and having a good time. Like, it's weird. Like, sets are weird like that, man. You sort of go a bit mad.
Yeah, well, it was funny, wasn't it? The first night when we were like, oh yeah, we'll get back to mine, have a pizza, and like we'll plan for the next day because of certain things that we've done today, like we could do with rejigging it. And then Will was like, well, I'm going to the pub to meet Dan, so you can come if you want. So we were like, right, let's get to the pub, but then we'll only have one, and we'll come back. And it's never one, is it? So I think we had like three or four. Come back like 10:30, and we still had to do the schedule. And I know that you and Molly said that was quite funny.
Although it was hilarious, and I cannot tell you why. Like I was saying, you just go a bit mad. Like, obviously we had a couple of beers, and we were doing this schedule because obviously like things change, so we're like switching stuff around and that. I just remember being in like hysterics, laughing uncontrollably over, I think it was like a spelling error. It was just something stupid. Like,
oh mate, what was it now? What was it now?
No, there was some.
What was it? I think you wrote like just the word like high or something like that. I can't remember, but
I don't know.
Everyone was just so
like
fucking
stupid.
like delirious and knackered.
Mm.
But nah, man, it was funny. were there any like other standout things on the day? Obviously, all my family and friends were there as cast and crew, and they're all nutters. So that was fun.
Yeah, like obviously we had loads of extras there who are obviously all Liam's, mates and family and that. And obviously, again, when you're sort of scheduling, it's my job to make sure the correct people are there at the correct times. So I was having to speak to your, family and that a lot. And then because it's on set and it's not being rude or horrible, but like stuff has to move quickly. So I'm like, I'm trying to get like 6 of these like 50 to 70-year-old women down these stairs. I'm going, come on, we need to get there now. Come on. So that was all good. But now, like highlights from the set. I just remember there was there was a shot where I think it was the first day. And like we'd done a few shots and that, it was all looking good. But then there was a shot. I think it was your dad of just him smoking outside, like a close up of the fag. I'm pretty sure it's in the film.
Yeah, it's the one. It's the one that we shot on. We actually shot that on a lower. These like big probe lenses that you can like push into things and like pull out and get really close up like macro shots. So that was like a really cool shot. But yeah, sorry,
I just remember while we were doing it, it looked really cool. It looked really good. It looked very like Coen Brothers, and it just looked sick. And I remember going, we could be onto something now. So that was probably it for me, mate. But like, the whole shoot was good. Like, obviously it was stressful at times, but there was never any like fuck ups. No divas or anything on set. Everyone was super nice. So it was all good. The whole thing was a highlight.
Oh, good man. I'm glad you enjoyed it. So then obviously shot that in the August, and that was edited in December. And then when did you see you saw it before it went on telly, didn't you?
Yeah, you sent me like a rough cut, and I think the final cut before it was graded or something. I remember watching that, and obviously it was really solid. And then when it went on TV, like me, you, and our other uni mates, and again some of them were in the crew. We were all excited to see it. I live in my house share area, with 2 of our uni mates who are also on our film course and work in the industry. We were all sat around the TV waiting for it, buzzing for when it came on and that, all getting very excited.
I mean,
so it's good. It was good.
I was going to say, what was it like when you found out that it was going to be on TV? Because I was only told that it was probably like maybe even get an iPlayer, and then they're like, oh, it's actually going to be on TV, and I was just like, what?
Yeah, well, it's class, isn't it? Like, it's for like such a small budget film, with like humble intentions, getting it on TV is class. Like, what more can you ask for?
Yeah, it's
like you've directed something what's been on TV. Well, that's pretty cool. No matter how you look at it, that's pretty sick.
It's difficult to sink in. Like, it's weird because I'm like, oh yeah, but then I want to do the next one. I want to do the next one. And there is a next one. There is definitely a next one that's being wrote at the moment.
So that?
You what?
I said, doesn't matter.
What did you say?
I just said keep your eye out.
Oh, yeah. Cheers, Bod. Thanks for letting the people know, mate. But yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of it. I just wanted to kind of get your opinions and what how it was basically. And it seems that you've. What am I saying here? Like, it feels like it seems like you had a good time and it was a good laugh and it got on telly, which is great. Blah blah blah. Hopefully, it's going into the festivals as we speak. So hopefully, someone sees it and goes, "Oh, here's somebody to make the next one, mate."
Hopefully, someone sees it, gives you a couple of mil, and then on to the next one. Happy days.
Yeah, exactly. Couple of mil. Yeah, just take a mil out for like your day rate.
All right, yeah. Fine. If you get a mil, more day rate is increasing substantially.
It might have to. But yeah, cheers, Bod. Thanks for coming on, mate. Really appreciate you taking time out of your evening. We've been going for about 35 minutes, which is primo podcast time.
Jeez. Have we?
Yeah. is there anything that you want to add or that you want to plug, or like where should people follow you if you want people to follow you, or what should they look out for from the Carlin Darling?
The Carlin Darling. I should actually start a channel called that or something, innit? I've been thinking, right, about starting a Balti review channel on YouTube. That'd be cool.
What,
but,
like chicken? What's the
chicken
connoisseur?
Yeah, sort of, but you know, not
the curry connoisseur.
The curry connoisseur. There you go. Nothing to really plug at the minute. Like I say, I direct and write my own stuff, but nothing I can tell anyone about at the minute. But if you follow me on Instagram at Joe Bodfish, I'll just put some stuff on there, and if anything does come out, it'll be on there.
Lovely stuff, Bod.
No worries, man.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much.
Hopefully see you soon, Liam, for a big sesh.
Yes, hopefully when all this COVID shit's lifted, we can rebook that holiday to Portugal.
I cannot wait to see the boys and the girls, but see the boys and the girls for a big fat session.
Just the boys.
Just the boys.
Yeah, girls can fuck
cool.
off. Cheers, mate. Speak to you soon.
Nice one. See you in a bit.
See you,
Bye.
man. Bye.